Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Brendan and welcome back to the channel, and today I want to explain why Bitcoin is getting ready for a huge move. Now, I believe that this is going to happen before 2020 is over, so if that sounds interesting at all, make sure you guys stick around for the entire length of the video as there will be important information discussed the entire way through. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into this guy because there is a lot to talk about on Bitcoin. So obviously guys, Bitcoin is at these all-time highs just below $20,000, and we've actually been sitting here for some time. Now, in the previous video, I talked about since Bitcoin has tested this area so many different times, just in the past week or two, it's a very significant factor that Bitcoin hasn't dumped off the face of the earth yet. Because obviously, the last time that we saw Bitcoin get anywhere close to 20K, we scroll a little bit over, it got rejected hard. And when I say hard, I mean from $20,000 all the way down to $10,000. But seemingly, it's a little bit different this time because as we have approached this 20K area once again, Bitcoin has tested it and held its own a whole lot better than we did last time. Now, again, I talked about that in the last video, but I want to talk a little bit more in depth about Bitcoin and how this situation that it's in is very, very unique over in here. So to get out the strolling tool, the first things first, we're going to have to talk about the EMAs and then of course the pennant that we have forming on Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and tackle the pennant first because I think it's a whole lot more interesting than any kind of moving averages. So with us being in this situation, obviously guys, we have been in this historic uptrend for Bitcoin over the course of 2020 so far, going all the way down to 4K, then from 40K parabolically up to 20K. And, that's kind of where we're at now. And so now at the top of everything, we are forming a pennant. Now, if you guys don't know what a pennant is, it's otherwise known as a symmetrical triangle. And that's just saying that we have a, relatively equal level of falling resistance and climbing support. And so here we have 1, 2, 3 different touch points to the top of this, and then of course 1, 2, 3 touch points to support. Now you could even argue that this is a fourth one over in here, but nonetheless we are relatively seeing the resistance fall almost as steadily as the support is climbing. So what this does is this creates a price squeeze on the price scale of Bitcoin, so that eventually this guy's either going to continue getting squeezed until it can't get squeezed anymore, and then much like a volcano, it's going to erupt either in one direction or the other. Now I tend to believe that this is actually going to be to the upside because much like a lot of my continuation videos that I've made this year, the trend is your friend in these ultimate scenarios, especially with pennants, because pennants are relatively, neutral formation and continuation patterns, and they do tend to lean one way or another based off of their pull. Now, obviously, this is a bull pull and then a bull flag scenario, so I would lean even more bullish on this, and then on top of that being the micro trend being bullish, the macro trend for Bitcoin, to no one's surprise, has been very, very bullish for, again, nearly the entirety of this year. Now, I understand I'm just showing a couple of months here, but the more we zoom out, the more we can see that Bitcoin has been on a beautiful uptrend over the entire duration of 2020. So again, the micro trend is your friend, the macro trend is your friend. I think the big kind of factor here that everyone is so worried about is that all-time high resistance. Now, I do want to kind of just zoom out before we dive into these EMAs and take a look at where Bitcoin is over here, because if we zoom out, guys, like this is it. If Bitcoin gets above this point, I have this giant arrow pointing there for a reason. I mean, there is no more technical resistance on Bitcoin. I mean, as much as I hate to say the sky is the limit, technically the sky is the limit, but there are levels of psychological resistance, like, obviously it's going to be 25K, 30K, 50K, 100K, and a lot of areas in between there, but there are still going to be areas of resistance where people stockpile sell orders. Now, going back over to the 4-hour time scale and of course the daily, I just want to take a quick look at that one as well so you guys can see the grand perspective. But going back to this 4-hour, I want to talk about these EMAs because I think that they are going to play a crucial part in Bitcoin, and they really have a lot this year. So looking from just where we're at right now, I want to zoom out just a little bit so we can see that this 50 EMA over here in the bottom left, which I'm almost blocking, is going to be, it was used as support just down in here, and I want to move this guy up just a little bit more. And then, of course, we can see that the 50 EMA was continued using as support almost the entire way up over here. I mean, if Bitcoin was going to fall anywhere, it was falling to this 50 EMA before continuing to the upside. Now, most recently, we broke through this and immediately went back above it. Again, I think that this was a very, very great sign of bullishness from the bulls, and we still bounced from the 200 EMA. Now, after breaking the 200, or excuse me, after holding the 200 EMA, we broke back up above the 50, tested that official all-time high of just below $20,000, then used the 50 EMA as support again and again and again, and we can see the wicks and the candles being used over here, even to where we're at currently. Now, I think that this is going to be a crucial point for Bitcoin. In fact, I would say I know it's going to be a crucial point for Bitcoin. We're seeing the squeeze on the volume. We're seeing the squeeze on the price. And of course, we are at this all-time high. So one way or another, guys, Bitcoin is getting ready for a huge move. And whether that's to the up or the downside, we can theorize all we want, but the absolute answer is, no one knows for sure. Now, again, I would tend to lean that this is going to be bullish, but it would completely make sense if we want to come back down here, form a higher swing low, and then continue towards the upside from there. So I think ultimately, guys, in the micro and the macro, especially the macro here, the trend is my friend. I'm going to lean bullish on this guy, even if it wants to move down. I would say my downwards target is around 17,300, 17,400. But, we'll have to see from there. If Bitcoin ends up breaking out over here, which again, I would say that it is more inclined to do, just because of its past history this year and, doing this on multiple occasions already. Breakout targets for me ultimately would be towards the, probably anywhere between 29 and 31,000 for Bitcoin. Again, we'll have to see what that looks like. If it can actually break out here. Obviously, there's a lot of resistance in between here and there, but lots of fun stuff to look forward to. I don't want to ramble too much, but ultimately, guys, that is my target on Bitcoin, and hopefully that was some good evidence to support it. If you guys did like it, let me know in the comment section down below. I want to know what your guys' thoughts on are, or excuse me, I want to know your guys' thoughts on this. Are you guys bullish? Are you guys bearish? How are you guys viewing this scenario? What's your guys' game plan here? So let me know in the comment section down below. I love being able to interact with you guys down there. And until next time, guys, I will see you all very, very soon.